For more on North Korea, I want to bring in DJ Peterson, the president of Longview Global Advisors. He's also a former director with Eurasia and Rand Corporation. DJ, what do you think the main purpose was for North Korea launching a missile that was directly over Japan, especially after backing off its threat to attack Guam?
I think it was an attempt to show that they could strike Guam. To show that they have the potential to send a rocket that far. That had to shoot it over Japan, in part because shooting it towards Guam would have made it fly over South Korean territory, and that would have been even more provocative at this time.
So we mentioned that President Trump's response to this new test, warning North Korea all options are on the table. What are the administration's options right now?
It's everything from continuing their current military exercises that they're conducting with South Korea. It's working very closely with Beijing to get the Chinese to put more pressure on Pyongyang. It's working through the United Nations. Of course, all options means military options, and what that would be is not clear. You have these broad statements coming out of the White House, but it's not clear from an execution perspective what that means.
Do you think that when you talk about covert operations, do you think that there's anything that this administration is doing covertly to prevent their advancement with these missiles?
I'm sure they are. It's been clear that the United States have tried covert operations in the past, and I'm sure they will. Whether they go to overt operations, though, is a big question, and that would be very provocative from Pyongyang's perspective.
Do you see that as a potential option with this administration?
They've said it's an option. You have different messages coming out of the White House and out of the government and the military, and so it's really difficult to interpret what is going on in Washington right now. And I think that creates the biggest problem, is that you have uncertainty on the U.S. side, which is unprecedented.
Do you think that a denuclearized Korean peninsula is really a realistic option?
I don't think it's realistic. The cat is out of the bag. Pyongyang has nuclear weapons. They are not going to get rid of them. They give the regime legitimacy. They're on TV right now because they have nuclear weapons and they're threatening. So this is the raison d'etre. This is what Pyongyang wants, and so they're not going to give up nuclear weapons. So the idea of denuclearizing the peninsula, I think, is a past objective.
The president said from the beginning putting pressure on China is important in this equation with North Korea. Do you think that's the right strategy, and will that help?
Well, Beijing is the only government that Pyongyang really listens to, and so I think a strategy focused on Beijing to work their diplomatic channels is the right way to go. Beijing wants North Korea to stop the missile testing, and I think that is the focus right now. That should be the focus of Washington, and that's where the U.S. and China can be aligned.
All right, DJ Peterson, we appreciate your insights and thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.